Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. Today we're going to be going over the special events in the final part of my beginner's guide. There are 4 different special events that pop up every weekend. In the special event slot, there's Robo Rumble, Boss Fight, Big Game, and Super City Rampage, and they're really helpful to grind a bunch of tokens, and also you don't lose trophies whenever you play them, so you can do it over and over again and get a ton of practice without risking any of your trophies for it. So they're very good for new players, just for progressing on their account and for getting better. So I'm going to give you guys the best strategies for each of these. So starting with Robo Rumble. In this mode, there is a safe in the center of the map that you have to protect. There are going to be 9 waves of robots that are going to be coming each 12 seconds apart, and then the 5th wave of those robots is actually just a single big giant boss robot, and for that you have 24 seconds instead, and you basically just have to protect the safe until all of the waves are up, and it gets harder and harder as you progress through each level. So for pretty much the entirety of the game, you want to make sure you're staying very close to the safe, pretty much on top of it, and you just want to make sure that the 3 people on your team have all the openings covered, so that way you're not all on the left side of the map, and then bots might come in from the right side and you won't be able to see them. So just make sure you can see pretty much everywhere around the safe, but you stay relatively close to it. Now when that boss robot comes, then you can get a bit farther away from the safe, since you know no more robots are going to be spawning for another 24 seconds, and you can take down the boss, do whatever you need to do there, and then come back and protect the safe again for the last 4 waves. And you also don't want to break too many walls around that safe area, because the more walls there are, the longer the bots actually have to walk to make it to the safe, and so it's going to stall them and make them take a lot longer to actually get to the safe and start dealing damage. So if you break those walls, they just have a straight path to the safe, and you're going to have to deal with the bots a lot faster, so it usually is to your advantage to try to not hit them. If you have any wall breaking supers like Colt or Shelly, just leave those walls up, it'll help you in the long run. And in terms of the different types of bots, there are the melee puncher bot things, there are the bots that snipe from a distance, then there are those super fast, low health bots, but the sniper bots are by far the most annoying, and they're going to just be dealing a ton of damage, barely peeking out of the wall. These are going to be the things that you really want to focus on taking out, because if you leave them up, even though they don't do as much damage as the other bots, they will be the most destructive when it comes down to it. So really focus on taking these out if you have the option to before you take out the other bots, because once you get them out of the way, the rest of it's going to be a lot easier. Now, this mode definitely requires a lot of practice to sort of just learn how it works and learn what the best possible way of surviving and taking out these bots is, but what you really want to focus on towards the end of the game is making sure that you don't shoot too many times at a single bot. If you kill a bot in 2 shots, but you end up wasting 3 ammo, then that's 1 shot that you could have used on a different bot, and that damage wasted a lot of times adds up and is a huge killer for why you may not actually be passing the levels. So try as hard as you can to focus on not wasting ammo, only using the shots you need, and making sure you're hitting pretty much every one of your shots. It's a lot easier than in a normal match, since the bots move fairly predictably. And most of all, you want to do whatever you can to not die, because in this mode it takes 8 full seconds to respawn, so it's a huge disadvantage to die. So it's better to take those 5 seconds to heal than to take those 8 seconds to respawn. So make sure you're staying alive. And in terms of the best brawlers, you just want brawlers with quick damage output. You want to be taking out those bots as fast as possible. So Colt, 8-bit, Pam, and Jessie are the 4 I would recommend for this mode. They all have super high damage attacks, except for Jessie doesn't have as high damage attack, but her super with her turret spawned auto aims on all the bots and just shreds out a lot of extra damage that she wouldn't have otherwise, so that's why Jessie is pretty solid in Robo Rumble. But Pam, with her healing turret that she places down as her super, that healing is very nice to have in this mode. And 8-bit, his super puts down that damage booster turret, and so getting that extra damage just boosts everyone's output for the entire match, and so you're just going to be taking out a lot more robots because you'll have a lot more damage, and Colt just has pure damage, so that's why he's also good on this map. Next up is Boss Fight, and this is a bit more simple than Robo Rumble in my opinion, because it's just 1 single robot with a massive amount of health, and it's got a couple different attacks. It can shoot lasers, it can hit you if you're up close, so make sure not get too close to it, and it can also shoot rockets eventually, and you basically just want to do as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, because he gets stronger and stronger over time. And there are also those mini robots that you would see in Robo Rumble that also spawn in Boss Fight once in a while, and those are pretty annoying, so make sure you deal with them as soon as possible, because it's going to be a lot harder to deal with the big bot if those are constantly attacking you. So basically this mode is all about just deal as much damage as you can to this one bot, but also make sure you always have a way to stay alive, because there is a 20-second respawn in this mode, and the way you lose this is by having everyone on your team die. So if you're all very close to the bot at all times, and you play some melee brawlers that have to attack very close close and you're getting hit by his punching attack, then you're all going to die pretty quickly and all within those same 20 seconds, meaning your game's going to be over. So it's good to have a balanced comp where you have maybe one close range brawler and then have some fast long range brawlers who you know will always be able to run away and just wait for everyone to respawn if you need to. So for this mode, I would recommend Colt, 8-Bit, Pam, Max, Bull, or Rico. There's a lot of long range brawlers in there. Max gives you that boosted speed just for running away. Like I said, it's very important to run away when both of your teammates are dead, so that way you can just keep them alive, because that is the key, is just staying alive long enough to deal as much damage as possible to the boss. 8-Bit is super slow and can't run away, but because he has the damage booster and because he just deals so much damage himself, overall, he speeds up the game by making everyone deal more damage, so it's worth it to play him. There are also power cubes that drop in this mode, similar to Showdown in the higher levels. So Pam is very good when you collect a lot of these power cubes because she has a ton of health while still having that healing turret and a lot of damage. So she's going to be able to survive a lot towards the end of the game, and she's a very good person to collect all these power cubes, as well as Colt, because he has an insane damage output. So if you just want to do as much damage as possible, he can also pick up a lot of the power cubes. But that's pretty much boss fight. Then we have big games. So it doesn't matter as much that you get good at this mode, since there aren't levels. It's the same difficulty, since there are two sides to this match. One person plays the big boss and the other 5 people try to take them down. You can be either the big boss or one of those 5 people. So eventually, if you just play enough games, you're going to win it no matter how good you are, but I'll share some tips anyway. So you got 2 minutes to take down the big boss, and you basically just want to deal as much damage as possible, come at them from different sides and try to corner them so that way they can't take out all of you at once. And so some great brawlers for attacking the boss are going to be ones like Shelly or Spike, because they deal an insane amount of damage, and they also have the potential to slow down with Shelly's star power, which you probably won't have for a while if you are a beginner. But Shelly, just in her raw form, just does so much damage, and the pushback from her super as well is very, very useful. And Spike's super also slows down the boss, and having that slowdown just lets everyone get in a ton of shots, and so you're going to be dealing a lot of damage and letting everyone else deal a lot of damage as well. So those two are very, very good, but basically anyone that has high damage output is very, very good in terms of attacking. Now, if you instead want to pick a brawler that's really good as the boss for staying alive as much as possible, I would recommend brawlers like Nita, Jessie, or Penny, because all of their attacks hit through people. They're not just piercing damage like Colt, where if the bullet hits an opponent, it disappears. All their attacks can hit a bunch of people at once if they're all lined up or grouped together, and so that makes it really easy to just focus on specific people and ensure that they're going to die, and don't hide behind other people or behind walls to heal, because you'll pretty much always be able to hit them. And then Jessie and Penny's turrets are super good for dealing a lot of extra damage as well, and Nita's bear can tank a lot and deal more damage. So that's why those 3 are all very, very good as the boss, even though they're not quite as good as attacking the boss, but maybe you just run them anyway and hope that the other people are running good attacking brawlers. And finally, we have Super City Rampage. This is one of the more recent ones, so I'm not as familiar with the best strategies for this mode, but I have learned a lot. So in here, you're trying to take down the monster before he has enough time to destroy all the buildings in the city, but overall, he deals like less damage than the boss from boss fight, and he's not as much of a threat. So it's not terribly important that you take him out as quick as possible, as long as you're able to slow him down from taking out the city. So you still do want all that damage just to take him out quickly, but having things like increased speed is also going to be super useful, because when he hits certain health milestones, like once he's at 75% and other different percentages depending on what level you're on, he's going to get angry, and then he's going to start chasing all of you around and deal an insane amount of damage, and he's faster than every brawler in the game. So you want to make sure that you don't die that time by having that boosted speed, and a brawler that's really good for that is Max, because her super gives her and everyone around her a very huge speed boost, so you can basically bait the monster wherever you want on the map without actually taking damage, because you increase your speed so you're almost as fast as the monster. And so if you're doing this strategy, you always want to make sure that when the boss turns angry, you lure him as far away from the buildings as possible, so that way when he turns unangry and he starts going after the buildings again, he has the longest possible walk to get there. So it's going to take him as long as possible, and it stalls him out and just gives you as much time as possible to attack him. So Max is very, very good in this mode. And then at the same time, you have those high damage brawlers like Colt, 8-Bit, and Pam. They're like the magic 3. They work well on pretty much every single special event. They're just a very, very good combination that increases your damage, gives you health with the healing, and just has insane damage output. And Gale is also another solid inclusion, because his super gives a bit of pushback that stalls out the monster. And also his gadget, which you unlock at power level 7, which you may or may not have, lets you spawn a bouncy pad that'll let you move across the map and basically just lets you run away from the monster when he's angry, which is extremely useful to have. So those are the best brawlers for Super City Rampage, and that's going to wrap it up for the special events. I hope you learned a lot from this video. Hopefully you can go in now and practice them with these busted brawlers and busted strategies that I've been giving you. Make sure to leave a like and a comment down below if you did find it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, go to your settings, and also enable notifications there as well, otherwise you won't get them. But that's all for today, guys, so see you later.